one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it because you can.
This story comes to us from The Guardian. Donald Trump's second presidential administration shut down a national database that tracked misconduct by federal police, a resource that policing reform advocates hailed as essential to prevent officers with misconduct records from being able to move undetected between agencies. The National Law Enforcement Accountability Database, or NLEAD, which stored police records documenting misconduct, is now unavailable, the Washington Post first reported. Now, the U.S. Justice Department also confirmed the database's elimination in a statement issued online. Quote, user agencies can no longer query or add data to the NLEAD. The U.S. Department of Justice is decommissioning the NLEAD in accordance with federal standards, end quote. That's from the justice system. A web link that hosted the database is no longer active. The police misconduct database, the first of its kind, was not publicly available. Law enforcement agencies could use the NLEAD to check if an officer applying for a law enforcement position had committed misconduct, such as excessive force, such. Several experts celebrated the NLEAD when Joe Biden first created it by an executive order issued in 2023, the third year of his presidency. Quote, law enforcement agencies will no longer be able to turn a blind eye to the records of misconduct in officer hiring, and offending officers will not be able to distance themselves from their misdeeds, said the Legal Defense Fund president and director counsel Janae Nelson, and that was of the database at that time. But Trump has since rescinded Biden's executive order as part of an ongoing effort to slash federal agencies down. Trump himself initially proposed the database after the police murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis in 2020, months before Biden defeated him in the presidential election that November. In an emailed statement to the Washington Post, the White House confirmed the database's deletion. They said, President Trump believes in an appropriate balance of accountability without compromising law enforcement's ability to do its job of fighting crime and keeping communities safe, said the statement. It goes on. But the Biden executive order creating this database was full of woke, anti-police concepts that make communities less safe, like a call for equitable policing and addressing systemic racism in our criminal justice system. President Trump rescinded the order creating this database on day one because he is committed to giving our brave men and women of law enforcement the tools they need to stop crime, end quote. Now, news of the NLEAD's erasure comes as police misconduct is far from rooted out in American law enforcement. For instance, in Huntsville, Alabama, an entire police department was recently put on leave amid a grand jury investigation that found a rampant culture of corruption. I did the editorial on that. They were abolishing the whole police department. The 18-person grand jury called for the Huntsville Police Department, which only has 8 officers, to be abolished. A probe into that police department came amid the death of 49-year-old Christopher Michael Willingham, a Huntsville dispatcher. Remember the drugs and stuff in the evidence room? Willingham was discovered dead at work from a toxic combination of drugs. Remember, I did the editorial. And the department also failed to account for, preserve, and maintain evidence. And in doing so, has failed crime victims and the public at large, said the grand jury. Just a few days ago, I did the story on that one. But the thing here is that the whole picture is that now that this NLEAD, National Database, is no longer available, cops can do what they want, you know, violate people's civil rights, get fired or forced to resign, and go, hey, I'll go over here and be a cop. I don't have to put anything down. What are they going to do? They can't check it no more. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to move from Texas to Colorado and become a cop over there. Nobody's going to know. Why? Because the national database is no longer available. So cops' misdeeds, their misconducts cannot be fact checked anymore through that database. So they can move from Washington State, maybe down to Georgia and become a cop over there. And, hey, yeah, I'm just new job and decide I wanted to be a cop and not tell them anything about being a cop in Washington State, where they may have gotten fired.